What's going on YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Money Moves with K. I am K, and today we're going to answer a question. Can you purchase a tax auction property under $5,000? I'm not going to talk too much. I just really want to get into the video and walk you through step by step where to find these properties and a little bit on how to do due diligence slightly, right? So here we go. So I want to discuss a little bit about Delaware. So Delaware conducts a monition sale, which is conducted or done by the sheriff, right? So it's a sheriff sale. And this state has 60 days redemption period. So it's a redeemable deed state. Okay, so keep that in mind. I distinguish between tax liens, tax deeds, and redeemable deed states in my course very thoroughly. We discuss it. We have visuals, everything very, very thoroughly of what that means and how to proceed with each and every sale. But for Delaware, it's about 60 days for a redemption period, okay? And what's interesting about Delaware is that they have a lot of good deals. Now, I want you to keep in mind that when you're dealing with tax auctions anywhere, right? A tax auction takes precedence over the actual mortgage. So a lot of times, a lot of these properties, now you do have to do a lot of searching and you have to do your due diligence very, 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 very thoroughly, okay? Which I discuss in the course as well, link in the description. But with tax auctions, it takes precedence over a mortgage, which means that you could be getting a home, right? You could be getting a home that has $150,000 mortgage. This is my example. $150,000 mortgage, and you could be getting it for the taxes that are due, right? Or the fees or whatever that is due. Now, what a tax auction does not do is take precedence over governmental liens. So you have to do due diligence there to try to figure out, how do I proceed? Does it have any other encumbrances, back taxes, code violations? I just did a video on code violations on my last video. So you have to identify like what else is attached to that property, right? And I go over that very thoroughly in my course. It's a really good course. I'll put some reviews here so that you can see that it is a pretty good course, and yeah, so you can get started. But for today, I want to talk about Delaware. So this is a website, and I've blocked out some of the information because these are still active. And by the way, the owner of these properties at any time could come and say, I want my property back, right? Even before the sale. And it would just be canceled. A lot of times you may go back to a list like this and it says cancel. Well, that means that the actual owner probably said, okay, I want my property back. However, for the list that we have right now, these are properties that will be sold at the sheriff's sale. I think it was in September. So there's still time if you're interested in the Delaware area, okay? So check this out. So this particular property is $3,530.10. And this is the principal. Keep in mind also that not only just Delaware, but a lot of these cities and states, you do have to pay some other fees, right? The sheriff sale fee, interest, and some other things associated with it. Plus, I do not want you to go in blindly or naive to think that this is the final sale. It's not. It's not. It's not the final sale unless you win the bid, right? So let's say altogether, with the principal, the interest, and whatever other fees they attach to this, that it comes up to $5,000, right? And that is the starting bid typically. That's the back taxes. So that's the starting bid. Now, if somebody else, comes and says, hey, I want to bid for $6,000, the bid continues to go up. But I do want to show you some places that a lot of folks don't even look is monition sales in Delaware, the state of Delaware. This one is $2,781.46. And the list goes on. Not all of them are under $5,000. If I scroll down, which I won't because I have to blur out more information, this is $67,000, $20,000. I've seen some for $100,000, $200,000. The list goes on. But what I think is the coolest thing is that these particular properties, the mortgage is gone on most cases, right? And I discussed that very thoroughly again in my course. Make sure you check it out. Link in the description. But let's check this property out. So for $3,500, we know that that's not the final sale. I'm being realistic and honest with you, right? This is the address, which I've already Googled and pulled it up, and I've blurred out the information as well here. However, this looks like I would say maybe a townhouse or a condo, a row house of some sort, right? And this is in Delaware. And I didn't do much investigation on like comps in the area, which I talk about in my course too. how do you know what this property is actually worth, right? So how do you know you're getting a good deal if you don't know how much the property is worth? Well, you have to know about the comps. And again, I am a real estate appraiser trainee, which means that I go through I went through the courses and everything to be an appraiser trainee. I'm not an appraiser, but I actually took the course for just personal research, right? So personal information to have, so I know how to run my numbers even better. And I go through that very thoroughly in the course as well. Running comps is not just finding 3 properties and finding an average. Whoever told you that is incorrect for the most part, okay? It's a little bit more than that. So we have these set of properties. I'm not sure which one the subject property is, but you get the idea. I just wanted to show you what it looks like, okay? Let me move on. Now, this is a list that I actually only provide in the tax auction course, and I actually just uploaded it. So if you have the tax auction course, you can check it out. This is a list of not just Delaware, it's multiple cities and states, okay? And it tells you exactly the information you need to know in order to know a list of foreclosures, and not just foreclosures, but tax delinquent properties, those properties that will be sold at tax auction. So yeah, the course comes with a ton of resources. I provide updated information in the course that I provide updated information in the course ongoing. So if you purchase the course, you will always get that updated information regardless of the time that I post it. So if I find something new and interesting, I post it to the course. And because you bought it already, you receive that update, okay? Moving on. So this is another property. First, let me show you the actual information. This is a website, again, that I share in the course. And it is a sale on 8/19, so August 19, 2025. And the sale, the estimated payoff it's saying is $2,450, okay? Which is not bad. That's subjective. I don't know what else is attached to this property. If there's $50,000 attached to this property, and I think I'm getting it for $2,400, then that could be a problem. All right. So let me go back real quick. So this property, which I've blurred out the address, is this home right here. Now, to me, if I were driving, let me circle all the way around. If I were driving down the street, right, to me, this looks like a problem home. Now, this image was taken in June 2024, okay? June 2024, so that was last year per the time of this recording. So my antennas kind of go up because I look at this property and I say, is it vacant? It may not be, but it sure is overgrown. And if this neighborhood has an HOA, which I'm not necessarily sure, however, if it has an HOA, then I already know that they wouldn't go for this. And even if it doesn't have an HOA, to me, it looks a little overgrown and it looks like it may potentially need some help. And that's what investing is really all about, is being a problem solver. Can you solve the problem? This person hasn't paid their taxes, or I don't know if it's a lien or not. Let me see, let me go back. It doesn't say here, but I did look up one of these properties via the court records. I can do that too. That's something you can do for free. You can look at the court records and see, actually kind of like pull up the covers and see what's going on behind the scenes and what really happened with this property. So yeah, this home, from Street View, of course, I do not know if anyone lives here. There's no car in the driveway right now at the time of the picture. That doesn't mean that no one lives here. It just means that, from my perspective, it looks a little bit overgrown. Like there's a lot going on. You can't even see the front door. Okay, you can't see the front door. But I'm not in Delaware, so I do not know personally how this looks, which I always suggest that you do. Look at these properties personally. Go in person and check it out. Street View, do not enter the property. Do not go on the property, the premises, because that is trespassing. That is not your property. However, I do suggest that Street View, of course, yeah, go and check it out and see the neighborhood. Look at the pride of ownership in the neighborhood and make sure that it's somewhere where the comps would match what you're paying for the property. Comps do matter when you're buying tax auction properties as well. So to answer this question, can you really purchase a property under $5,000? The answer is yes and no. they're good deals. I found properties for $500, right? You could purchase those. And there's other deals that may go over $5,000. But I will say there is a process after the auction. That's a fact. There's a process after the auction is all said and done. And there may be additional things you have to do. Not maybe. There are additional things you have to do even after the tax auction is complete. All right. So if you need help with that process, make sure you grab the link below to check out the course. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, I truly do appreciate you. I truly do. I thank you for supporting the channel, liking, all of that. I appreciate your time and your effort and your attention. And if you made it to this far in the video, in the comment section, put tax auction. It lets me know that you made it this far in the video, and I truly do. Once again, appreciate you. Until next time, guys, you stay blessed. Peace.